speaking. And he starts off by saying this. He says, I was ready to respond, but nobody was calling for me. He said, I was ready to be found, but no one was looking for me. He said, I kept saying, here I am, here I am. And all day long, my arms were open to a people who did not want me. Now, I know at first glance you hear that and you're just kind of like, it's kind of negative or whatever. I know it is a little bit, but there's some really, really awesome things about God. And I'll tell you what I thought about when I read it. Because I can tell you straight up, there have been more times than I want to admit that I did not want to call on God. That I was running from Him, and I had no intention of calling on Him. I was mad at Him, afraid of Him, scared of Him, whatever it was, attitude I had towards Him. I was not going to call on Him. And I was very encouraged to read that even when I was not wanting to call on Him, that He was ready to respond to me. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? And in those moments when I say, God, where are you? And I don't know if anybody's ever done that. People have been dying since the beginning of mankind. But when people have been dying, like there's nobody that's 150 years old on this earth, and we have a history of, it goes way back further than that. And when people die, it's like we're completely surprised by it, especially people that we love. And we get mad about it, and we'll question God, and we'll get angry at God and point fingers at God, and we'll say things like, God, where were you? Am I the only one that's done that? Am I the only one that's held, cried over a casket and just poured tears into a casket, mad at God? And it's so encouraging to read that verse. And when I was saying, God, where were you? God, where are you? He was saying, I'm ready to be found. And he says, I kept saying, here I am. Here I am. I'm right here. I'm with you. I'm with you. Even when you didn't feel like I was with you, I'm with you. And then the last one, my favorite one, because a lot of people have the story of they're really good people, really bad people, and doing a lot of bad things, and then they give their life to Jesus, and they become pretty much a good person after that, right? I had the exact opposite story. I was pretty okay, whatever, before I gave my life to Jesus. And then after I gave my life to Jesus, then I really started sinning after that. Had the exact opposite thing. So I don't know if anybody's ever experienced that, where you're a Christian, you're walking with Jesus, you make vows, you say, I'm going to wait till I'm married to have sex or whatever, and you break that vow. And there comes a lot of guilt and a lot of shame with that. And a lot of questions. Nothing changed about God. God didn't do anything. We did something. And all of a sudden, I don't even know if I believe that anymore. Whoa, what changed? God didn't do anything. We did it. And all of a sudden, we're just I don't even know, blah, blah, blah. All this guilt and all this shame. And we immediately think, my ministry's over. God doesn't love me anymore. He's never going to accept me. It's over. This Christianity thing's too hard. I thought I was, had it figured out, but I'm out of here. Anybody else? Am I the one in that too many times I said, man, it's too hard. I'm out of here. Whatever, I'm out. But isn't it encouraging to read in that verse in Isaiah 65 verse 3? It says, all day long my arms have been open to you. It reminded me of the story of my dad. My dad's here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. My family's here. We're near my hometown. And my dad raised me in church. He was choir director in church and all that kind of stuff, and taught me how to sing, and is a far better singer than I will ever be. When he sings, it doesn't sound like he ate a bag of sandpaper. So he's a lot better than I am, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. But I considered him to be my best friend in the world. He's my best man at my wedding, and I love hanging out with him more than anybody else on the planet. And my dad loves to play golf. And so the way that I would hang out with my dad was we would play golf together, all right? That's how we did it. And somewhere along the way, for whatever reason and whatever was going on in his life, he stopped going to church at this one particular point in his life. And whenever you love somebody and whenever you care about somebody, you'll throw theology out the window, because you're like, if somebody comes up to you and go, well, it's fine. No, if he prayed a prayer, when he was 6 years old, he's fine. If he's going to die, he's going to go to heaven. That's fine. Great. That's awesome. Maybe that's true. Maybe it isn't. But when it's somebody you love and somebody you care about and you know that there's stuff going on in their life, you need to talk to them. And I felt like God speaking to me and saying, hey, you need to go talk to him. And I have no problem talking to anybody, like anywhere. Like God called me to be a disciple when I was 12 years old. And when I was 16 years old, we actually started this band. And I know that's why I was born. I know that's why I woke up this morning, is to hold a microphone and tell people about Jesus. And I love it. And I've been all around the world and love doing it. It's not hard for me to do because I know that's what I was born to do. I love standing in front of people and telling people about Jesus. But when the Holy Spirit started speaking to me and said, you need to talk to your dad, I was terrified and scared and nervous. You see, me and Dad, even though he's my best friend in the world, we don't have like deep conversations with each other, all right? Like the deepest conversation we're going to have is like, who do you think is going to win the Heisman Trophy this year? That's about as deep as we go, all right? And that doesn't mean like we have a shallow friendship or whatever. We just don't, we're just guys, and I don't know any other way to explain it. Maybe that's an excuse, maybe that isn't. Now I'm married with 2 girls surrounded by emotions and feelings. I don't remember all that growing up, really. Now I'm around it a lot. I get asked questions like, how are you feeling? Hungry? I don't know. There's a wrong answer in there somewhere, I'm sure. We didn't do that, with me and him. And so I remember this particular day, I think I was like 26 years old, somewhere in there. And we got done playing golf and we're getting ready to put our clubs in the car, and I just kind of leaned over and I put my hand on his shoulder and I said, Dad, I got to talk to you. He said, all right. I said, listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't need to know what's going on. It doesn't matter. I said, but if there's something you need to do to make things right with Jesus, then I want you to do it. I said, you know most of my sins. There's a lot you don't know. But you know a lot of them. You know most of them. You're there when I got out of jail. You were there for a lot of things. I said, Dad, here's the deal. You know everything I'm about to say to you. I said, I've given my life to Jesus. He's cleansed me of all my sins. I'm his child. And he's making me more like him every day. And when I die, I'm going to heaven. And at this point, I had oceans of tears just streaming down my face. And I said, Dad, you're my best friend in the world. And all I'm asking is that when I go there, that you be there too. So whatever you got to do to make things right with Jesus, do it. Because being here on this earth and being friends with you here on this earth is not enough for me. One of the hardest things I ever had to do in my entire life. God will ask you to do uncomfortable things every once in a while. And that's okay. You just got to do them. And he looked at me, he said, Kevin, I want to do that. I want to do that. He said, but I don't really want to go to church, and I don't really want to be around church people. And I know he's here tonight, so I want to just tell it like it is. I wanted to hit him really hard and smack him upside the face. And say, I didn't say anything about church. I didn't say anything about church people. I don't even care about church people. I don't care. It's like, and I told him, I was like, I don't care if you ever go to church ever again. I'm not talking about church. I'm talking about whatever you got to do to make things right with Jesus. I was like, if you can't do it for yourself, then do it for me. And we left that conversation there that day. Now I don't know how long time passed, but I caught him watching like a TV preacher on TV one day, you know, whatever. And then maybe sometime after that, he started going to that place that he said he didn't want to go to, you know. Like I said, we don't have deep conversations. But I remember we were in a car together and we were passing a cemetery, and he looked over and he goes, man, it's going to be awesome when we come up out of there, isn't it? Now, I don't know, for me, man, that was like one of the most awesome things I could ever hear him speak to me. And last year he had a heart attack, and he was getting ready to go in and have surgery to have a 5 bypass or whatever. And I was late because I don't live here anymore. I was driving down, trying to get there, hoping to get to talk to him before he went in. And he was laying down and getting ready to go in. And I was just like, I went up to him, I was like, hey man. He's like, hey buddy. You know, and you can tell he's hurting. And I said, hey listen, I know you're getting ready to go in here. I said, you go in here and get taken care of, all right? Because we got some golf we need to play, okay? All right? And he said, okay. And I said, and if I don't see you, if you don't come out of here, I said, I'll see you later, all right? I tell you that story tonight because life is precious. Life is so precious. And my dad had an excuse that day when I first talked to him. He was like, you know, I want to make things right with God, but I don't really want to go to church, and I'm tired of church people. And he had his reasons, and they're probably great reasons. But I believe that those reasons were in the way that particular day. They eventually got out of the way, but they were in the way that day. And if I were to come to you and I were to say, hey, whatever you got to do to make things right with Jesus, do it. Don't wait. Do it. Don't wait. And maybe you come back to me and you say, Kevin, I want to. I'd really love to make things right with Jesus, but... And then whatever you would say. For some of you, it would be maybe the same thing. Yeah, I want to, but man, I don't want to go to church, you know. Maybe some church people did you bad. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your fist right now. Everybody, just take your fist right now. Hold it in front of your face right now. Everybody, just put it right there. Put it right there in front of you. And if you were to say to me, Kevin, I want to make things right with God, but whatever you would say after that, I want you to visualize it, and I want you to put it in your fist right now. Just visualize it, you put it in there, and you hold on to it, all right? You grasp it and hold on to it. You grasp it and hold on to it. Maybe yours is something different. Maybe it's guilt and shame, like I've had in my life. Some big mistakes, like, after you've given your life to Jesus. You carry around all that guilt, all that shame. You're like, man, I really want to make things right, but you just don't know what I've done. I've messed things up too bad. Maybe you got failed marriages behind you, and maybe you got kids that you haven't spoken to, or a mom or a dad you haven't spoken to in over a decade, and you're just like, I want to make things right with God, but man, I got baggage, my life's messed up. I want you to take that right now, put it in your fist right now. Maybe you're addicted to drugs or something right now, and you're like, I love to give my life to Jesus, but I am like messed up, man. I'm not free, and I don't know how I'm going to do this. If that's your excuse, man, if that's where you're at, take it right now, put it in your fist, hold on to it, squeeze it, don't let it go. If you're here tonight, if you have anxiety or depression or suicidal thoughts, or if you are harming yourself in any way, you say, I love to give my life to Jesus, but I don't know how I'm ever going to stop this. Take it, put it in your fist right now. I met a girl on the first of the tour. She came up to me after the show. She said, Kevin, I was sexually abused when I was 6 years old. She said, I started cutting myself every day. She's now 32 years old. It's a long time. She said, I want to give my life to Jesus, and I want to make things right with Jesus, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive the person who did this to me. You see what I mean? We hold on to things, don't we? She's let, it was in her way. It was in her way. Tonight, I don't know what's in your way. Maybe it's not about coming to Jesus. Maybe it's you already have a relationship with Jesus and God is asking you to give up some things. God is saying there's some things in your life. It's time to move on. It's time to grow up. It's time to get some things out of your life. And you're like, no. And you're holding on to it. Well, let tonight be the night. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to sing a song called Yesterday Is Over. And in that song, with everybody's fist right in front of you right now, put it right there in front of you and hold on to it, okay? There's a line in this song that says that we like to hold on to everything. We like to hold on to everything. The very next line of the song says this. It says, I want you to open up your hands, let it go, and give it to Jesus. And when that line of that song happens, I want you to take whatever you are squeezing, whatever you are holding on to tonight, and I want you to let it go. All right, this song is called Yesterday Is Over. But you hold on to everything. Come on, everybody, put your fists up in the air tonight. Come on, let's let it go together, everybody. Open up your hands and let it go. Keep it long. Come on, one last time, everybody, put your fist in the air tonight.